Most men have no idea how dangerous their compliments actually are. You think you're being charming when you tell her she's beautiful, but what you're really doing is blending into the background of every man she's ever ignored. Because here's the cold truth. If a woman forgets your compliment 5 minutes later, it wasn't a compliment. It was emotional white noise. You don't need more praise. You need psychological weapons. Compliments so unexpected, so raw, so personal. They bypass her defenses and go straight to her obsession center. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 3 forbidden compliments. Use them right, and she'll feel something she can't explain. Use them wrong, and you'll become just another weak man trying too hard to impress. Don't blink, because what you're about to learn flips the entire game. Before I walk you through the 3 forbidden compliments that trigger obsession instead of politeness, I just need a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and let me know what city you're watching from in the comments. I read every single one, and it tells me how many men out there are finally waking up. Because what I'm about to show you isn't just about compliments. It's about power, and why the right words, said the right way, can shift the entire dynamic in your favor. Let's begin. Compliment number 1. There's something about you I can't quite figure out. On the surface, it sounds simple, almost innocent. But underneath, it's one of the most powerful psychological hooks you can use on a woman, because it touches a part of her ego that normal compliments never reach. Let me explain. Every woman who's even remotely attractive has heard it all. You're beautiful. You've got amazing eyes. You're so fun to be around. It doesn't offend her, but it also doesn't affect her. These are compliments that make sense, and that's exactly the problem. They're logical, predictable, expected, and anything expected is forgettable. But when you say, "There's something about you I can't quite figure out," you create disruption. You open a loop in her mind, a question she doesn't know how to answer. What does he see in me? What am I projecting that's pulling him in? Why can't he figure me out? And why do I want him to? That's the power of this line. It flips the frame. She's no longer the prize on display, being evaluated. Now you're the one observing, and she's the one chasing clarity. You've created a dynamic where she needs your approval, not the other way around. This compliment works because it taps into 3 psychological pressure points. 1. It makes her feel unique. Most compliments throw her into a category: pretty, funny, interesting. This one removes the category. She's not a type, she's a mystery, and nothing is more attractive than the feeling of being unclassifiable. 2. It creates controlled tension. You're showing interest, but in a way that holds emotional distance. You're not sold, you're intrigued, and intrigue is infinitely more seductive than flattery. 3. It activates self-investment. She starts analyzing herself through your lens, which means she's now emotionally investing in how you see her. That's when attraction becomes obsession, not because you impressed her, but because you unsettled her. You made her feel something she doesn't usually feel with men: uncertain, curious, incomplete. Here's the kicker. Most men try to make a woman feel safe in their approval. But safety doesn't create attraction. Tension does. Not aggressive, not hostile, but emotional tension that makes her lean in to figure you out. That's why this compliment is dangerous. It doesn't feed her ego. It feeds her need to be seen, but not fully. To be noticed, but not explained. To be read, but not solved. And the moment you give her just enough mystery to question herself, she'll start chasing the answer. And that answer is you. Now let's talk about how to use it, because "there's something about you I can't quite figure out" isn't just a line. It's a psychological move. And like all powerful moves, timing and delivery matter more than the words themselves. First, when should you use it? Only after she's shown some level of personality. Not just small talk. Not just, "What do you do?" You wait until she says something with flavor, a surprising opinion, an unusual insight. A reaction that doesn't fit the usual script. Why? Because this compliment needs contrast. It needs her to show you something unexpected. So you can frame it as a pattern break. You're not complimenting what she planned to show you. You're complimenting what slipped out. Second, how do you deliver it? This is crucial. Your tone has to feel unforced, almost like you didn't mean to say it out loud. You pause, tilt your head slightly. Make it seem like you're talking to yourself, but letting her hear it. Think, quiet, curious, calm, a little smirk, like you're trying to solve a puzzle and you're not sure if you like what you're seeing or if it's going to ruin you. This is not a line you say fast or loudly. It's a low-volume weapon. Third, 3 real-life moments to drop this compliment. She shares something contradictory. She says she's shy, but tells a wild story. You pause, look at her, and say, "Yeah, there's something about you I can't quite figure out." She reacts emotionally to something small, laughs harder than expected, gets serious over something subtle. You lean back, smile just enough, and say, "You're not like most people I meet. I haven't figured out why yet." She takes initiative or surprises you, orders for both of you, leads a conversation shift. You glance sideways and let it slip. "You know, I thought I had you figured out. I don't." Each version does one thing. It throws her off balance gently. And women remember the men who made them feel unsettled in a way that felt safe. Finally, what not to do. Don't deliver it too early. If you drop this in the first 3 minutes of meeting her, it reeks of manipulation or worse, desperation. Don't smile too much. This isn't flirty, it's curious, and don't explain it. The moment she says, "What do you mean?" just shrug. Say, "Not sure yet, still watching." Let the ambiguity work for you, because once she's the one trying to decode you, you've already won. Compliment number 2. I feel like there's a side of you most people never get to see. If the first compliment triggers mystery, this one triggers depth. And for a woman who's used to being seen as attractive but rarely understood, this hits like lightning in slow motion. Here's why it works. Most men stop at the surface. They compliment what they see, her looks, her laugh, her vibe. But what every woman secretly craves is someone who sees past that. Someone who can look at the version she performs and ask, what's behind it? This compliment slices through the mask. It doesn't challenge her. It invites her, not with force, not with game, but with presence. It says, I'm not here for what everyone else sees. I see the version of you that shows up when no one's watching. And that is disarming, because now you're not another guy chasing her image. You've stepped into a rarer position, the man who sees the real her, even when she's not ready to be seen. This shifts the entire dynamic. You're no longer trying to prove yourself to her. She's trying to prove that you're right about her. She wants to confirm that yes, there is a deeper side, and you're the one who deserves to see it. Why does this happen? Because psychologically, women, especially high-value ones, are tired of being flattened into one dimension. They get praised for their beauty, liked for their charm, watched for their energy, but rarely does someone pause and say, there's more to you, isn't there, without needing the answer, just holding space for the possibility. This compliment does exactly that. It taps into 3 core emotional needs. 1. The desire to be seen as more than hot. It acknowledges that her value isn't just aesthetic, it's layered. It says, I see your complexity, and I like it. 2. The thrill of being decoded. Most women are used to playing the game of keeping men guessing. This flips the game. Now she is the one being watched, not judged, but understood. 3. The instinct to open up. When you imply she's been hiding something worth discovering, you make her want to reveal it, slowly, selectively, to you. And once she starts peeling back layers, she gets emotionally invested in the story she's telling you, because you're the one creating the space for it to exist. That's where real connection starts. Not in what she shows you, but in what she chooses to show you after you prove you can handle it. So don't underestimate this line. It's not a compliment. It's a mirror. And the moment you hold it up, you become unforgettable. Let's break down how to use it. I feel like there's a side of you most people never get to see. It's not just a compliment, it's a doorway. But timing and tone decide whether it opens a connection or closes it with suspicion. When should you use this line? Only when she reveals something slightly personal, but not deeply vulnerable yet. It could be a story from her childhood that shaped her, a moment of genuine laughter that breaks her composed persona, a random passion she lights up about, painting, scuba diving, collecting obscure vinyls. The key is this: she shows you a version of herself that isn't for public display. That's when this line lands like a truth she didn't know she wanted to hear. How do you deliver it? Low voice, slow pace, and here's the subtle trick. Say it like you almost didn't mean to say it out loud. It should feel like you're thinking aloud, not trying to impress. No smile, no drama, just calm observation. You want her to feel that you're watching her in real time, not reciting a line. Here's how to add depth. After she shares something small but revealing, you pause, really pause, then tilt your head slightly and say, I get the feeling there's a whole side of you most people never get to see. Then let it hang. Don't fill the silence. Let her sit in it, because that moment of silence, that's where the tension builds. That's where she starts to feel seen and compelled to show more. Here are 3 situations where this hits hard. She reveals an old dream or passion. She tells you she used to write poetry. You lean in slightly and say, "See, that right there? Most people probably never get to see that side of you." She reacts in a way that contrasts with her image. She's been cool and composed all night, but then bursts into genuine laughter. You give her a curious look and say, "I don't think most people get to see this version of you." She opens up about a mistake or fear. Nothing dramatic, just human. You nod slowly and respond, "I feel like people don't really know this side of you, but it's real. I like it." How do you extend the effect? Simple. Don't chase the reveal. Once she opens a door, step back. Let her want to show you more. Ask subtle questions, not deep dives. Let her feel in control of the reveal, while you hold the frame of calm, grounded presence. The mistake most men make? They push too hard once she opens up. They overreact, overpraise, or worse, overshare. Don't. Keep your energy still. Let her discover that being seen by you doesn't require performance. That's when she becomes addicted. Not to your words, but to the version of herself she gets to be around you. Compliment number 3. I can't decide if you're trouble or exactly what I need. This one is pure psychological tension. It doesn't flatter. It destabilizes in the most seductive way possible. Here's the game. Most compliments give a woman control. You're amazing. I love your vibe. You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. She receives them, smiles, says thank you, and holds the power. But this line, it flips the dynamic. You're not giving her certainty. You're giving her ambiguity. You're telling her, you affect me, but I don't know yet if it's in a way that'll ruin me or save me. And that tension, that uncertainty, it drives women crazy in the best way. Let's break down why it works. 1, it creates instant push-pull. Attraction thrives in contradiction. When you say you're trouble, you're warning yourself. When you say exactly what I need, you're pulling her closer. And when both happen at once, you create a spark between danger and desire. She doesn't know where she stands, and that is the moment she starts wanting to define it. 2, it makes her feel unpredictable and exciting. Most women are used to being seen as nice, cool, fun, but deep down, they crave the feeling of being disruptive. Not in a chaotic way, but in a way that leaves a mark. This compliment says, you're not just enjoyable, you're disruptive. in a way I didn't expect. And that makes her feel powerful, in a way that's addictive. 3. It triggers the need to prove herself. By saying you can't decide, you place the verdict in her hands, but don't give her the answer. You create a silent challenge. Convince me you're not trouble. Convince me you're worth the risk. And women love to rise to that challenge, not because you asked, but because you didn't. This is where the real shift happens. She's no longer thinking, is he into me? She's thinking, what does he mean by that? Why can't he decide? What would make me the right answer for him? And once she starts questioning herself in relation to you, you're not just flirting, you're framing. You've moved her from the position of being the prize to being the proving ground. That's the power of this compliment. It's not about clarity, it's about emotional chaos, controlled chaos. You didn't say you want her, you said you're not sure, but something about her is pulling you in, and that uncertainty becomes a mirror. She doesn't see you clearly anymore, because now she's looking at herself through your indecision. And when a woman starts wondering what version of herself she's becoming around you, she's already in deep. Let's get surgical. I can't decide if you're trouble or exactly what I need. This line isn't meant to be dropped casually. It's a provocation wrapped in curiosity, and it only works when the vibe is right. So when do you use it? Only when she shows heat. She teases you with a sarcastic remark. She challenges your opinion. She does something bold, flirts with the bartender, takes the lead, swears with confidence. In short, she shows you she's not trying to be nice. She's being dangerous. That's when you strike. You lean in, slightly. Keep your tone low. Eyes narrowed just enough to signal, you've caught my attention, but I'm not sure if that's a good thing. And then you drop it. I can't decide if you're trouble or exactly what I need. Then pause. Hold the silence for half a second longer than is comfortable. Let it hang. Let her feel the weight of your curiosity. That's how you make it stick. Your body language matters. No wide smile. Smirk. No leaning forward too much. Keep grounded. Let your tone hover between intrigue and caution. You're not validating her, you're studying her. And that energy, it pulls her into your frame. How long should you hold this loop? Here's the play. Don't explain yourself. If she asks, what do you mean? Shrug slightly and say, I'm still trying to figure you out. Haven't made up my mind yet. Then change the subject. Or better, ask her a question that forces her to show another layer. That's how you keep the loop open. Not with more compliments, but with curated curiosity. Here are 3 killer scenarios where this line hits with impact. She challenges you playfully. She mocks your drink choice. You smirk, tilt your head and say, yeah, I can't decide if you're trouble or exactly what I need. She does something bold. She high-fives the server, makes a dark joke, or calls out a guy across the bar. You lean in, lower your voice and say, you've got this dangerous vibe, and I don't know if that's good for me. She surprises you with emotional depth. You thought she was playful, but suddenly she shares a raw insight. You slow down, look at her like she just cracked your armor and say, I was ready to run from you 5 minutes ago. Now I'm not so sure. How do you make her crave your vibe after the date? It's simple. Don't close the loop. Leave her guessing. Leave her wondering what she means to you. Leave her wanting to be exactly what you need. Not just fun. Let her try to shift your verdict in her favor, long after you're gone. That's how this line becomes unforgettable, not because of what it says, but because of what it makes her want to prove. Let's recap. 3 forbidden compliments, each crafted not to flatter, but to disrupt, not to please her ego, but to pull her into your frame. 1. There's something about you I can't quite figure out. You plant mystery. You make her curious about herself, through your eyes. 2. I feel like there's a side of you most people never get to see. You touch the part of her no one asks about, the part that hides behind charm, beauty, and performance. 3. I can't decide if you're trouble or exactly what I need. You drop tension into the room. You make her feel like a risk, and that makes her want to prove she's worth it. None of these are about getting her to like you. They're about flipping the game from, I hope she's into me, to, she's trying to figure out what she means to me. That's the shift most men never make. They think compliments are candy, toss enough out, and she'll reward you with attention. But real attraction? It doesn't come from pleasing, it comes from positioning. When you speak like a man who isn't afraid to see deeper and isn't desperate to be understood, you become the rare experience she can't quite shake. So here's the wake-up call. Stop complimenting to get her approval. Start speaking in a way that makes her want yours. Because once she's trying to earn your perception of her, she's already emotionally invested. And once she's invested, you're no longer chasing. You're choosing. So if this hit you, if a part of you knows you've been giving away your power with surface-level praise, then it's time to change the way you speak and the way you show up. Hit that subscribe button right now and drop a comment below. Tell me which compliment hit hardest. Or share the one line you've used that actually worked. This channel isn't about gimmicks. It's about helping men step back into control. With depth, with presence, and with strategy. Because women don't obsess over compliments. They obsess over the feeling behind the words. And if you can master that, you'll never chase again. You'll attract